The next balloon animal we're going to learn how to make is a balloon monkey. So, like before, I'm just going to blow this up almost all the way, leaving half an inch to an inch of uninflated balloon at the very end. I'm going to leave like half an inch this time. And then tie it off like normal. Okay. There we go. And I've learned since I recorded the video for the balloon dog that you can actually straighten these balloons out by sort of just working them like this. You know, it's a pretty intuitive thing. You just work it with your hands until it straightens out, or straightens out enough in this case. And we're ready to make the balloon monkey. So the first thing we're going to do is you want to make a little sausage here, you know, by doing a pinch and twist like we did for the dog. You want to make a little sausage on the end of the balloon where you tied the knot. And you want that to be like an inch or so long. If you can get it a little bit smaller than that, that's great. But, you know, if it's giving you a hard time, an inch will do. So I'm gonna make a twist there. And then I've got this little sort of inch-long sausage, excuse me, on the end of the balloon. And then we're gonna do the exact same thing again, except this time, if you can get it a little bit smaller than this one, that's ideal. You want to make another sausage that's maybe a little bit smaller, but if it's the same size, that's fine. And this is why it's hard to make these very small sausages in the balloon, because when you try to go really small, when you pinch, sometimes the air will just get forced right out of it, like that. So that's why I say if you can only get this to about, you know, an inch or so wide and no smaller, then that's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna try to make another sausage there. It's about the same size, so that's fine. And then you want to arrange everything like this. And then take this top bit here and twist it around 3 times. So there's 1, 2, 3. And then this is what we're left with. And then next thing you want to do, again, measure out like an inch or so and pinch and twist there, make a little inch-long sausage. And then make a second one like before. That, again, like before, is a little bit smaller, if you can get it a little bit smaller. But if it's the same size, that's fine too. Okay. And then what you want to do is arrange the balloon like this. And, you know, you'll have this stuff down here, just, you know, sort of push it to the side, make sure it's out of the way. And then, like before, you take the top bit here, twist it around 3 times. And try to make sure that you're twisting in the same direction each time for all of the balloon animals you make. So I'm going to take this, twist it around 3 times. Okay, so there's 1, 2, and 3. And then this is what you're left with. But you want this to be pointing down, so you can just sort of work that around a little bit. And then you have something that looks like this, where this part is pointing down. You got this in the center, and then these 2 things, which are going to become the monkey's ears. they're sort of, you know, this is going to be odd to explain, but if you imagine these being sort of shaped like beans, you know, like they sort of curve a little bit toward the center, if you can see that. You want these to be, you want them to be oriented the way that they are right here. Instead of, like, for example, you have this one over here and it comes out looking like this and sort of, you know, turns sideways. You want it to look like that. And I can't think of a better way to explain that, but hopefully, you know, you can see what I mean by watching this. But anyway, this is what we're left with. And what you want to do now, which is kind of a tricky part, is you hold it like this, and you take all three of these top bits at the same time, and you twist those around all together 3 times. So like this. Okay, there's 1, 2, and 3. And then what you have is ears, sort of a nose, snout, and then a head, where we're going to draw eyeballs later. And another thing, you want to, you know, your ears might come out a little bit wonky, so just, you know, arrange them like this, you know, sort of twist them around so that they look more like ears, if that makes sense. And this nose is a little wonky as well, so I'm going to twist this a little bit. A lot of these balloon animals, it seems like to me, is, you know, just sort of tweaking them a little bit until you get them to look exactly the way you want them. Probably if you're like a professional and you've done this a lot, everything comes out pointing the right way and everything like that automatically. But I don't have a lot of experience with this, so I'm going to have to work it around a little bit. But anyway, we have the head, which is the hard part. And now all that's left to do is make the arms, the legs, and the tail, which is basically just like making the balloon dog that we made before, except with somewhat different proportions, which I'll show you in a moment. So what we want to shoot for is small arms, small legs, and a big long tail that we can then sort of curve around a little bit to make it look like a ring-tailed lemur or something like that. And so what you want to do, I'd say take about this much. That's like maybe 7 fingers worth, like 7 of my fingers, or, you know, maybe you might call that like 5 inches or so. Pinch and twist there. And then kind of like the dog, you push this back, and then you have these parallel to one another, and you grab these 2 lengths of balloon together and twist them. So I'm just going to use that quickly. There we go. And this is facing the wrong way, so I'm just going to twist it around a little bit until it looks like that. Okay, so that's fine. And then the back legs and the tail. So I don't have a super set in stone measurement for, you know, where to make your pinch and twist here. I keep kind of eyeballing it when I'm practicing. Excuse me, sorry. But I think what you want to do here is make the pinch and twist like here. So from the, you know, the neck and the front arms and everything, that's probably like, you know, 7 of my fingers, or maybe it would be like 5 inches again. So make a pinch and twist there, take this, push it over here, and then sort of as close to the edge as possible, you know, the end of the balloon here, as close to that as possible is where you want to make the pinch and twist, because you want nice, you know, small legs to match these ones, and a long tail that, you know, that can be sort of curved. Okay, so I'm going to do this, Hang on. Okay. You got some little legs there. Twist this again. Okay, so I twisted it a third time. And, you know, I made a little bit of a mistake there, and then I corrected it. I only twisted this whole thing around twice, and so the tail was sort of pointing downward. I twisted it a third time, like I was supposed to do, and now the tail is sort of coming out in a nice way. Just so you know. Ideally, this tail would be longer, and I made a practice one of these a few minutes ago. I don't know where I put it. Oh, sorry about that. But anyway, ideally this tail would be a bit longer, like 4 inches or so longer than it is now. But you know, sometimes when you don't have enough practice at making these, or you know, you're practicing making them and you're at a beginner level, things will end up not exactly in the proportion you want them to be in. And you know, it just takes practice to get things to work out the way you want to with these balloons, is what I'm finding out. But if this were a little bit longer, what we would do is, like I showed you at the beginning of the video, sort of like working the balloon, and this time instead of trying to straighten the balloon, we're trying to curve it downward. So you can just sort of work it like this, exactly how you would think you would use your hands to curve a balloon like this. And something else that you can do is sort of hold it in a given position and hold that for like a solid minute or so, and then it might work out, you know, curvier. But there you go. There's your monkey. And as for, you know, that last measurement that I told you to make, where I was telling you that I've just been eyeballing this measurement and, you know, sort of make it down here. You know, the measurement that I told you about when we were forming the back legs and the tail, just, you know, disregard what I said there, and, you know, sort of play around with making the pinch and twist closer to this side or closer to this side or whatever to try to get this tail longer.